Hi everyone. Why does everybody say hi everyone? Well, hello, my name is Femi and I'm a men enthusiast. I think I like that word, men enthusiast. It just means I'm particular and keen about matters that have to do with men, brothers, and especially Christian brothers. Um, my desire is to see more and more people change the narrative that you know that narrative now. Men are, yeah, don't even say that word. But we are changing that narrative. That's the whole idea of sessions we've been doing over the last 2 years. This video is supposed to draw attention to a topic that a lot of people don't like to talk about: the burdens of a multi-potentialite. Yeah, I know. It's actually a mouthful, that word, multi-potentialite. So permit me to shorten it a bit. What's that? Is that a white beard? Well, I'm growing old small. Well, alright, permit me to shorten that word a bit. So I'll be using the word multiple, and when you hear me say multiple, I'm actually referring to multi-potentialite. Basically, it describes people who are, have many good things to offer, of course, who have many sides, who are also high achievers in many fields. And unfortunately, it comes with a cost, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'll give a very brief intro in another 30 seconds to 1 minute, but if you're not interested in my intro, just go to the description and click on the part of this video you're interested in. I put it in segments, so it will be easier to watch. Alright, so I'm Femi. I grew up in Lagos, Nigeria, and I happen to be a doctor. I trained as a medical doctor in the greatest university, the University of Lagos. It's not really the greatest, but we like to hype ourselves that way. Yeah, of Lagos. And I currently work as a trust grade doctor in Walsall Manor Hospital here in England, and it's been an amazing journey. I'm a Christian. I do not hide that. I put my faith out there consistently, and I tell people, your faith is what you believe in, is what you stand for. And I know it comes as a rude shock sometimes, especially in the professional world, when you put your faith out there. But hey, I'm sorry. Did I say I'm sorry? I'm not sorry, Jerry. I'm a Christian, and you've got to love me like that. So I'm a Christian, I'm a doctor, and I'm married to a beautiful woman called Miriam. She's an amazing person. She's so lovely. A brother to my sister and my brother. A son to my mom. What else am I? Yeah, once in a while I do some pastoring work. I did a lot of that back in uni, and I still do some pastoring work here and there. I like to take pictures of my wife, especially she's my model, so I'm a photographer as well on the side. Maybe one day I'll retire from this doctor job and focus on photography. I've heard people say, "Oh, Femi, you take lovely pictures." Well, I'm shy like that. What else am I? Yes, I'm a men enthusiast. I said that earlier. I host meetings, monthly meetings for men, and we talk about different topics ranging from sexuality to marriage to family to career. No topic is off the table, and in the last 2 years we've had successful topics like this, Zoom meetings online especially, where we come together, and it's like a very close knit. We built an amazing family, and we call it Practical Conversations, Brothers Only. And in the last 2 years, like I said, it's been an amazing ride. Once in a while I do some counseling work as well, although it's more of informal, so I wouldn't call myself a professional counselor. No, I am not a professional counselor, but by virtue of being in the pastoral field for that long, I have, and being a medical doctor, of course, I dabble, that's the word, into giving counsel, especially, I think I should remove that part. I'm not a counselor. Yes, I also got listening ears, so if you want to talk, I'm always ready to listen. And I think that part has gotten me a lot of friends, a lot of good friends, where we can rub minds together. We can pour on each other, or rather most times they pour on me, because hey, I'm the one doing the listening, they are the ones doing the talking, but I love it. I love to listen to stories. Oh, how could I forget? I'm a writer. I'm a published author of the book The Burnt Stygian, and gosh, that was one hell of a project. I'm working on the second project at the moment. I won't tell you, look out. So how many things have I listed? I'll let you do the maths. Now, putting all these things together in one person is the kind of thing I'm talking about by saying, a multi-potentialite. I'm sure many of us would find ourselves exceptionally gifted in one or two things, but when you start looking at 3, 4, 5 fields, you're complicating things for yourself, and I think my life is one complicated one, but a beautiful complicated one, orchestrated by God. All these giftings, all these different aspects of me were given to me by God, and I cannot but express these giftings well, but it comes at a cost. And in the next section, I'm going to talk about the cost of these to me as a person. This is me being vulnerable now, and I don't get vulnerable quite often, but to me as a person, to me as a husband, to me as a doctor, to me as a career person. Oh, did I forget? Yeah, I'm planning to be a surgeon in the nearest future, and it just weighs in sometimes, and this video is supposed to just pour it out there and hopefully encourage someone to say, hey, we see you, we see what you're doing, and you're not alone. If those of us who have waded through the waters in the past can wade through successfully, you can too. And now I'll put this disclaimer out before we go to the next part of this video. You do not have to do everything. You do not have to do everything. The fact that you're doing one thing alone and you're successful at that one thing doesn't make you inferior to the person who is doing 20, 30, 40 things and is extremely successful at those 30, 40 things. Quality and quantity are two parallel measures of efficiency. You don't have to use quality to measure efficiency. Sometimes you measure efficiency by quantity, and sometimes you measure it by quality. But irrespective of how you choose to measure, the most important thing is that you're efficient. So disclaimer, you don't have to do everything. Alright, so I go into medicine in a very funny way. I always tell this story to my colleagues. I said, back home in Nigeria, we grew up in that environment where if you're the school I attended to anyway, the school I attended, if you're smart and very geeky, they put you in science class, blah blah blah. That's not to say those in commercial or arts weren't smart, but I think it was just a weird system of putting those who had A's, distinctions in the sciences, and by default I just found myself in the sciences, and I didn't like further maths. I liked maths, but I knew I didn't like further maths. Further maths is like additional maths, whichever language you choose to call it now. And I just knew, okay, if I'm not going to do maths, I'm not going to do engineering. So medicine, here I come. How did I decide to be a surgeon? Fourth year med school, I made up my mind. By virtue of exposure to a certain lecturer, I made up my mind to be a surgeon. And it's been fun. I've trained under surgeons here in the United Kingdom, and it's a wonderful specialty, and it's a specialty I plan to in the nearest future go into fully. At the moment I am not yet a trainee surgeon. They call it non-training, whatever you choose to call it. Just know that I'm a doctor. That's it. What specialty am I interested in? Surgery. Beautiful. What part of surgery? Should we talk about that now or talk about it later? Okay, now this next question is tough. Yeah, how did I get into pastoring? I think it was also third year or fourth year med school, so it was part of a campus fellowship in the University of Lagos College of Medicine, and it was MFM campus fellowship, and I was general secretary at some point. I was vice president at some point, and I think it was the year I was vice president, 4th year slash 5th year, that I developed that thing about pastoring, about looking out for people, and the name just stuck. PDF, Pastor Dr. Femi. Very, very funny name. But I think over the years, by virtue of counseling and teaching and leading people, it has become an office that I have functioned in effectively over the years. The pastoring office. It's a lot of work because it's not formal. I didn't go to any pastoring school, so I can't call myself Pastor Femi. But a lot of people call me Pastor Femi because they see me as a pastor to them. Will I say they shouldn't call me Pastor Femi? No, but I'm saying it's an office that comes with responsibility. You're responsible for people. You're responsible for teaching people. You're responsible for leading people. You're responsible for giving them proper counsel. You're responsible for giving them proper advice. You're responsible sometimes for even praying for them. Did I say sometimes? All the time actually, for praying for them, for looking out for them. It's a lot of work being responsible for people, and I think every one of us is a pastor in our own way. You're looking out for your other person. You're a pastor, whether you like it or not. This next one. Yes, I know. Okay, so I'll tell you the story. Miriam and I met in med school as well. Fast forward. I won't tell you the story. I'll leave her to, tell that story. I think she's told the story of how we met, how we this, how we that. We'll talk about that some other day. But long story short, we got married in 2019, and the last 2 years of our marriage has been exceptionally spectacular. I think that's the closest word I can find in my head right now. They've been the best years of my life yet, and I can say I'm happy doing life with the woman I love. But there are no buts. I can't find any buts actually. Yeah, that's the one aspect of my life I enjoy: being a husband, being responsible for another human being, living with her, doing life with her on a daily basis. Yeah, I know. Love, beautiful something. Well, not everybody is meant to get married, that one is for sure, but if you are going to get married, make sure you love the person you marry. Yeah, I think I heard that from Pastor Kingsley recently. He said, nowhere in the Bible does it say we should marry who we love. It says we should love our partners, our spouses, our husbands and wives. So I think it's the greatest feeling in the world, love. Yeah, and I'm happy I'm in love. How do I combine everything as a multiple? It's hard, but it's beautiful. Yes, I say it's hard because you must realize that you can only do one thing at any point in time. Yes, as funny as it sounds, being a multi-potentialite doesn't make you an octopus. It doesn't give you 8 hands. No, you can only do one thing at a time. You're not omnipresent, so you cannot be in more than one place at any point in time. And a lot of people fail to understand that concept of being compartmentalized. I think that's the word here. I try to compartmentalize things such that work doesn't mix up with church and church doesn't mix up with work. I think and it's difficult. Now, am I saying I'm a hypocrite? So when I'm at work, I don't show my Christian side, and when I'm at church, I don't show my medic side. No, I'm saying the ability to know that in every single different aspect of my life, I am the same one person, and I must function effectively in every one of these aspects. And for me to do that, I must be able to focus and say, okay, now I am at work, I put my whole energy to it, and when I get to church, I do everything, with all the zest I can, muster. And when I'm at home, I'm a full-time husband to my wife, at that point in time? Is it difficult here? Have I been caught here and there, tweeting in church? Did I say tweeting? No, I'm not so much on Twitter. I meant WhatsApping in church, or calling my wife when I'm at work on break, of course. Yes. So sometimes there will be overlaps, but ability to focus and concentrate on one thing at a time is important. A lot of people think also that people who are multiples have ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, so they try to get into many things and by getting into many things, if they are successful at that many things, then they call themselves multi-potentialites. Well, I think it's not so much ADHD, it's more of a blessing, that I am able to function in all these capacities, but my ability to function is dependent on my ability to focus. If I cannot focus at work because I've got a lot of things on my mind, then I'm no longer multiple. I'm useless at that point in time, because I need to be able to concentrate on what I'm doing to be able to do it effectively. So ability to prioritize also very important. I must mention that as a person who does many things, I must learn which one comes first. And I think if I were to prioritize many things in my life, being a husband comes first, being a pastor comes next, being a doctor comes after that. Yeah, I know it's a struggle sometimes between being a pastor and being a doctor, deciding which one comes first. I think being a husband is, top on my list at any point in time, and I always put it out there because, hey, that's my life. That's who I am, and I wouldn't change that for anything. I decided long ago that I will be the best husband to my amazing wife, and God help me, every day I try to put my best foot forward. Miriam, if you're watching this, I love you so much. You don't even have a clue. I know I've said that to you many times. Yes, you don't have a clue, but you don't have a clue to how much I love you. But this video is not about me and Miriam. It's about the fact that as someone who is divested in many things, you can sometimes get carried away. Yes, and this is me being honest. There are times when, because I'm doing multiple things at the same time, if one particular thing suffers, and that's where this video, wants to shine light on the ability to not allow any part of your life suffer, even if you are in multiple things at a time. And I'll talk about that in the next question or section, whatever. All right, so priority. I have started touching on it earlier, and I must say that if you do not know how to prioritize, all aspects of your life would suffer if you don't know how to prioritize. Think about it. Yoruba people, I am Yoruba, and I'll draw this adage from them. They say a blacksmith doesn't put two pieces of metal in the fire at the same time. In reality, if the fireplace is large enough, you can put as many pieces of metal as you can, but you won't put two things on the fire at the same time in your mind. Your mind is not limited. Take note, your mind can handle as many things as possible. It comes with training, but this is me saying that you must order things. This comes first. As a person, what are the things that are important to you? What are the things that matter to you? What are the things that are dear to your heart? I've stated the things that are dear to my heart: being a husband, being a pastor, being a doctor. I'm making pastor and doctor somewhere in between. So being a husband, being a pastor, being a doctor, those two, and then the rest. As an author, I try to write as much, but once in a while I give myself a breather that, hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that and that. This can wait, and this will wait if I am not doing this and this effectively, because I have to be able to function effectively, to be able to do the many things and I want to do. If there's trouble on the home front, I won't be able to get creative juice to write the books that I want to write. If there's trouble at work, if there's trouble, pastoring someone, I won't be able to concentrate to be, a good photographer, an amazing writer, a beautiful listener. I won't be able to do all those many things that I do. So I prioritize these things. I prioritize these things because they come first in my life. And for you, I would say, brother, prioritize. Learn to, put things in order. Sometimes it helps to write. Write all the things you are engaged in. Write all the things you are engaged in. Write them out. When you write them out, you then begin to see, oh, it's plenty. Oh, yes. OPG. But your ability to pick them one by one is important. Your ability to say, okay, yes, there are many things on my list, but this is top, this is second, this is third. When you prioritize your goals, your visions that way, you will be able to then make actionable steps and say, yes, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Yeah, I think that's number one. Number two is to take as much rest as possible. Hey, my wife knows I like to sleep. Oh, maybe I sleep a lot, I don't know, but in reality, I sleep somewhere between 4 hours a day and 8 hours. Try not to exceed 8 hours. Yeah, I still try to get my 8 hours of sleep, because in reality, I can't afford to get burnt out. If I'm burnt out, I won't be able to do the things I want to really do. Think about it. If you are burnt out, how will you function as a person? So this video, sounds like something I'm doing effortlessly, but it takes a lot of planning in my head, writing things down, and resting. Yes, resting. Even God rested on the seventh day. So who are you not to rest? Who are you, giant of Africa, giant of the world, that you're not resting? Come on, don't kill yourself in the name of doing things for others, or even for yourself. Don't. You will get burnt out. Learn to rest. And I'm not talking rest as in sleep. Take breaks in between. You've been working 4 or 5 hours. Get up, take a break. That thing can wait. Your health, your life is more important. Prioritize rest. The third thing I'll talk about is pray. Yes, pray. I cannot emphasize it enough. Your ability to do everything depends on God. Yes, I would say that again. Your ability to do everything depends on God. God is the author and the finisher of our faith, of our lives. So if you are not committing your ways into God's hands, the odds of things going wrong are very high. You have to look at your life and say, God, I can't do this alone, Lord. Help me, Lord. And at a point, even Jesus, yes, and I say that with confidence, even Jesus asked God for help all through the way. He didn't do life on his own. Jesus was a pastor, he was a fisherman, at some point he was a carpenter, he was a teacher of the word, he was a prophet, he was many things to many people. And at a point, he had to ask his disciples, who do you say I am? That's my role model for being a multi-potentialite. It was many things to many people, but he knew what it was per time. So, and it brings me back to him being dependent on God, his ability to know that, whatever I see my Father do is what I do. So your ability to know that you cannot do anything of your own accord if God is not involved, you're wasting your time. It's important that you put God in everything you do. Commit your ways into God's hand, and He will direct your paths. Alright, finally I would say this, and I will say it with joy. There is no such thing as a Superman or a Superwoman. You must have a support system, and next part of this video I will talk about my support systems. I have a lot of people on my support system. As you must know, my wife, definitely. And in the next video I'm going to talk about how we met, not necessarily how we met, but how we support each other, how we vibe off each other. Yes, how we love each other and help each other. And for those who are unmarried, you must still build a support system for yourself. it is not good for anybody to be alone. You must have somebody to help you. You must have people around you to help you. I'm not talking about, husband and wife helpmates now. I'm talking about people who will be support systems. So I think I'm already going into the next part of the video. Well, if you want to make sure that you see the next video, subscribe. Where is the subscribe button? Is it there or there? Wherever, I shall click on the subscribe button, and do me a favor, like this video, share it to your friends. I love you, and God bless you.